Welcome, everyone, to the Coaches Huddle 831 podcast. I'm really excited about our guest today. But before that, again, we always talk about our mission, and it's to really get the experiences and the knowledge of our great game, and especially within the coaching ranks. Um, and again, like always, this podcast is dedicated to the memory of Coach Anthony Cotti, our coach, our brother, and my compadre. So let's get started. Again, I'm really excited to have our guest on today. Let us welcome to the Coaches Huddle 831 podcast, Coach Steven Zenk, head football coach of the Salinas High School Cowboys. Coach Zenk has been teaching math and coaching football for 28 years, 18 of those years as a head coach at first at North Salinas High School for 9 years, and currently going into his ninth year at Salinas High School. Coach is 51 years old and likely, quote unquote, what is it?
9 years.
9 years, sorry, Coach. 9 years away from retirement. Wow, that's going to go by in a blink, right, Coach?
Yeah.
Right? He was born and raised in the 831, a graduate from Palma High School in 1992, then went to Santa Clara University to play football for a year, and to the University of Idaho, where he graduated and also played football. Coach has been married for 23 years to the former Stephanie Frederick. Did I say that right, Coach?
Friedrich.
Yeah. Friedrich. Hi, Coach. Who also teaches at Salinas High School. Coach also has two brothers, Richard, his twin, and a younger brother, Lawrence, who also teaches and coaches at Salinas High. Shout out to the Zenk brothers. He has a son, Joseph, who is a senior at Salinas High School, where he plays volleyball and is highly active in ASB. Coach is proud of Joseph and excited for the future has in store for him. Coach also wants to shout out to his niece Sophia, shout out Sophia, who is also a senior at Salinas High School and involved in the FAST Academy and athletic training. It is a pleasure to welcome again Coach Zenk.
Thanks for having me, Coach.
No, it's our pleasure, Coach. All right, Coach. So we always start off with an outside of football question. Coach, what is something you are passionate about outside of football?
Kids. Honestly, the football part, I love football. I try not to downplay that anymore, but I do love football, but I always think that the kids are the most important part, and I always had a passion for kids. My second year teaching, I was teaching at Palma where I went to school and coaching football and track actually back then, and I went on a retreat, and I really remember feeling like that kind of piece of, I know why I'm here. I'm here to serve kids. And it was just kind of one of those things where it was like, I know why I'm here. And I'm here to serve kids. And that was kind of my passion. Always have the passion for family. Our family's pretty tight. Always has been. It's not anything different, I think, than a lot of families around here. And then a side passion, I really like riding electric bikes. And I definitely like to ride my e-bike as much as I possibly can.
Right on. Because when did that start? The bike passion.
2020. I had to get out of the house and find something to do, and I wasn't in the greatest shape. And riding my mountain bike was a struggle, and got an electric bike and got me moving again.
Right on, Coach. All right, Coach. So, $1 million question. Where did it begin? I know you have mentioned Palma, but what position did you play there, and other sports as well?
I played on the O-line and D-line. I played tackle on offense and actually 50 defense, so tackle on defense at Palma. Played basketball, did track, and tried to stay involved. I was in ASB and did school newspaper and just anything I could do to. We were pretty tight in our family as far as you're not allowed out of the house for just any reason. So my brothers and we signed up for everything we could at school, and just to have a little more social atmosphere. And we were always involved in sports growing up. Our dad played Division I basketball, and I think I was probably 3 the first time that we got out and learned how to shoot right and do all those things. And my mom was big on being involved. She was, Little League president and did a lot of those kinds of things growing up, and they were always really big on being involved in things. Now it's much more of an issue with the video games, but we were not allowed in the house. It was go outside and do something.
Yeah, I think we both kind of agree. If we were in the house, we were either in trouble, sick, or had to finish something up, right?
Right.
We were outside all the time, right?
Yeah, or it was raining, right?
Yeah, oh yeah, there you go. It was right. Even then though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you talk about your family experience. How was that, having your brother, your twin Richard, there with you to experience that, and how important that was, and then again have maybe a little brother kind of looking up to you as well.
My twin brother and I played every sport together. We were always on the same teams, right? And if he didn't feel like doing something, generally Rich did. If I didn't feel like doing something, and vice versa. If I didn't feel like, oh, I don't really want to lift today, and then he would be all over me about it. And then same thing, if he didn't feel like lifting, I was like, oh no, we're going to the weight room, And uh, same kind of thing with football. It was, hey, like we're gonna do this together, and just it was fun because you always have someone to push you, and we lived in the same room until we were 22, so we were always around each other, so that was great. And our younger brother Lawrence, it was the 80s and 90s, right? So it was take your brother with you. So
well, I was that little brother.
yeah. He always went with us to do everything, and
know.
he's actually coaching with me now at Salinas, which is fun.
How's that feel?
Great. My twin brother coached with me at North High and a couple years at Salinas before he moved. And then my younger brother this last year, first year coaching football. He's a basketball guy and more of a basketball coach guy, but we had a need, and he's great with kids. He's calm. He does a great job of instructing kids. And he's a teacher also at Salinas High, so it was kind of a natural fit for him. And he was a little hesitant, but I told him, I'm not really asking you. I'm telling you you're going to come coach, so we'll just make sure it works out.
Yeah, call in those markers, right, Coach?
Yeah.
So, I know you don't. It's probably a question that you probably, well, it's any major accomplishments, Coach. I know there's extensive, but any major accomplishments as a player that you feel proud of?
I did play to Santa Clara. That was the last year they had football, and then did recruiting a second time around when that happened. And my brother and I actually both went to Santa Clara, and then we made that decision together. And then we both went to Idaho, but we made that decision separately. And then got to play Division I football. I had the pleasure of playing tackle in college. I played 1 year at tight end actually, and actually started at tight end as a redshirt sophomore. And then the two tackles that were a year ahead of me both played in the NFL for 9 and 6 years. So I got to watch a few games there. But they did a great job, and
how was that experience? Just seeing some of your peers at the highest level of football.
It was fun. It was everyone's competitive and you want to play, and I definitely have that in me. Reality kicks in a little bit when you look at those two guys in front of you, and you're like, yeah, I mean, I'm good, but they're great, and sometimes that's what happens. And I was lucky enough my senior year I was first team all conference, all Big West conference at Idaho, so that was fun. But I don't remember much of playing, and I remember the fun times with your friends, right? Like I remember more times in the locker room with my friends in college than I do games. One of my coaches in college, Giorgiano, 13-year NFL guy, and I remember the first day of meeting him. He came in my junior year at Idaho, and he said, "You remember your first start and your last start, and that's it." He goes, "Everything else will be about your experience with your teammates and just the other parts that go in with football." He said, he goes, "I remember my first start as a player, in college and my last start. I remember my first start in the NFL and my last start." And he goes, and the rest of it, I remember the fun times with my teammates.
Those are great words of wisdom, right? Because I think you don't really value or appreciate it till it's gone, right? Yeah. That's a good advice for our younger generations, right?
Yeah, and it's the other things that you get out of football, I think, are more important than the game. I mean, obviously, we're playing the game because we love football and we want to play and we want to succeed. But I think the things you learn about time management and hard work and teamwork and hopefully learning how to be a better man, I think those are the more important things that you get out of football. I always tell the kids, some of the hardest times of my life, I knew how to deal with it because of football. Like I knew I knew how to stay focused and to move forward. And it's not always easy. Life is hard sometimes, but always had a path forward. I think because of football.
Right on, Coach. Right on. So Coach, when did you realize that you were good enough to be recruited, or just you knew from day one?
No, I was totally off my radar. I actually started playing football because I wanted to meet more girls. And if I'm being totally honest, I noticed that the girls like the kids that play football at Palma, and and I remember thinking, oh well, I need to get myself out there a little bit more. And that was, I don't know if
Coach, were you as smooth as you are now?
No, no. And I just kind of remember that was the thing. I remember playing my first year. I didn't play as a freshman. Played as a sophomore. And I remember at the end of the season, Doug Saucedo was our coach on JV, and Coach Costa was the head of our program. And I remember Doug talking to my parents and asking them to meet with him, and he had just he was always great about that. And Carlos Rivera had just gone to Santa Clara, and Dirk Giannini ended up going the next year.
And you went with Mike Maestri, right?
Yeah. Mike's a little bit older than me, but yeah, yeah. Mike's about, I want to say about 6 years older than me.
Oh,
now.
right. Well, he was at Santa Clara too, right?
Yeah. And no, Mike ended up in New Mexico. That's right.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I remember he sat down with my parents, and I was as a sophomore. I think I was 6'3", 175 pounds. And my brother was probably 6'3" and a half, always a little taller, and he was probably 165 pounds. And I remember Coach talking to my parents and just saying, hey, if that's something they want to do, and I did love football, you know how that is. If it gets the hook in you first, it's in there. And I wanted to continue to play as long as I could. And having a twin brother, I knew I was going to go to college, and I knew that paying for two would be a problem for my parents. And I remember thinking, maybe this would be a way for me to pay for school and have an opportunity to keep playing a game I love, and put in a ton of work in the weight room, put in a ton of food in my mouth, and I think I gained, I want to say 80 pounds in 2 years. From my sophomore year to my senior year, I was 250 as a senior, and was lucky enough to get recruited by a few smaller, back when we had D2 football in California, right? Santa Clara, St. Mary's, and Davis. I was always a good student, so that was part of my kind of plan. Got recruited by the Ivy Leagues, but I remember thinking, I don't know if I want to go that far. Kind of mama's boy, and I didn't know if I could make it that far from home. And Santa Clara just worked out. Terry Malley was the head coach, just an incredible human being. I still talk to him on occasion, and I remember feeling like going to camp that summer before my senior year and feeling like it was a great fit. It was a great academic school, so it kind of had the whole package. It wasn't too far from home, which I was a young senior. I turned 17 during my senior season, so it was kind of the best fit I thought possible, and really enjoyed it and went there. And I didn't know if I could or not. It was more along the lines I like the challenge of trying to achieve. And if it didn't happen, I had good grades, so I figured I always had that to fall back on.
Right on, Coach. Right on. So, then you transferred to University of Idaho. Culture shock, a little different outside of football?
Yeah. Coming from California, I mean, it's January right now, 70 today, right, Coach? And going up to Idaho, I remember going on my recruiting trip, and Coach Sean L. Smith was the head coach then, and Nick Holt from Bellarmine was the guy that recruited our area. And I remember telling us, it doesn't snow very much here, and it gets cold, but this is before the internet, Coach, right? And I mean, you could look at a map, but it was a paper map you folded up, right? And there was no online at that point in time. And actually, looking back, one of my roommates from college was up there a few years ago and called me, and he goes, "Why did we go to school here?" Well, because it was free and it was football. And I remember him saying, because there was no internet and we didn't know there was nothing here. But I actually really enjoyed it. The team there was really, really close. Talking to friends at other schools, a lot of them have seemed like they went to practice and then they went their own way after. And when I was at Idaho, I mean, it was, I don't want to say like being in high school, but we did spend all our time together. Our team did.
Now, from my experience, talking to a lot of different, is it an, a line thing? 'Cause it seems like line are like brothers, right? And you get like the skill position might not be so tight sometimes. You think that might have been the case, or?
No,
I
our
don't know.
team was pretty close.
That's awesome.
Our O line was definitely close, really close together. I I think we have a text group of all of us still. I mean, I know we do, and and the O line and D line together, and there's about 20 of us in there that, everybody might as well still be in the locker room talking crap to each other, which is fun. But Idaho was just kind of a special place where the team was really close.
Right on, coach. Right on. So, let's talk about. Do you have any advice for anyone thinking that they can play, college ball? What words of wisdom you would have for them, coach?
I tell my kids when they play for us, if that's your dream, be open to anything because there is a place for everyone. Everyone wants to play Division One, right? Everyone wants to be on TV. Everyone wants to do all those things. Uh, if you just want to keep playing football, then keep playing. When it's over, right, coach? It's over forever. That's not something that you're gonna go play a pickup game when you're 50, right? It's not the same. Play as long as you can, and if that's something that's really in you. And the other thing is, if you love the things about football that you get from football, but you don't love football, you will not like playing in college. It's much more job like. I mean, I don't want to say they own you, but they definitely own you, and it's definitely more job like, and it's the competition level obviously is higher. The practice even. You could be the best guy from our area and never start a single game. Guys that played for me that were outstanding that would go through their careers as second team. And,
well, let's talk about that.
Yeah.
You've had the honor of having quite a few of your players make it to the next level, not only Division One, but been able to continue their football careers in college. What advice did you give them, or what was special about them, coach, that they were able to do that?
Work ethic. Generally, we always say for Division One, you got to hit the genetic lottery first. You have to have the measurables, the height, the weight, the speed. You have to have the work ethic and the willingness to. I always tell them, hey, if I have to talk to you about going in the weight room, then this probably isn't for you. Like if I have to talk to you about making workouts or doing good in school, it's probably not for you. Like you really have to be a self-starter at that level. And Division Two and Division Three, I've had kids play at every level. NAIA, it's all the same. Like you have to have that inner drive. They're not going to chase you around to do what you're supposed to do in college. It's an adult program, right? It's not the same. But if you want to play and you're serious about it, put the time in. You got to have school. You got to take care of school. Like when we were kids, they had Prop 48. If you're not great in school, to try to help kids get off of school. There's none of that anymore. They're recruiting nationwide with the internet. And I tell our kids, there's a kid just like you with a 4.0 and 2 inches taller.
Yeah.
And you have to do something to stand out. Whether that's your grades, whether that's your ability, size, all those, speed. Something has to make you stand out. And if not, then maybe FCS, smaller Division One, Division Two, Division Three, NAIA, junior college. Like some kids, I think there's a knock on that. I don't think there is. How many kids does Hartnell get out every year? I think they do a great job getting their kids out. MPC does a great job getting their kids out. Cabrillo does a great job getting their kids out. There's always options.
Yes, I definitely agree. But again, like you said, they're student athletes, right? So they got to take care of both sides of that.
Yes.
So, Coach, how did you decide to be a coach? When did you realize that this was something that I want to pursue?
I didn't. If I'm going to be totally honest, I was one of those guys we talk about in the locker room in Idaho, and there's a lot of guys on the team that were education majors, and they were going to be teachers and coaches, and that's what they wanted to do when they were done. And
was that your degree, Coach?
No, I was a political science major. I was intending to go to law school. I got into law school. I graduated a year early. Got into law school my senior year at Idaho. I remember my advisor, my brother and I both did. We were both going the same route, and my advisor sat us both down and goes, "Hey, the first semester of law school is when they weed people out, You're going to take 3 classes that aren't even for credit, plus another 4 classes. You have a Friday night lecture that's 3.5 hours. I don't think you can do all that and play football. And I remember going, oh, I'm good in school. And I remember him going, hey, this is not school, this is law school. And I remember going, okay. And I ended up pursuing a master's in public administration. Um, and I was thinking, okay, like I'll get that, and that'll help me get, maybe a municipal job when I go to law school when I'm done playing, right? And then I just was never intending to teach or coach. I did I was like camp counselor growing up. I really liked that. And looking back, I think it was probably in the cards always. We'd have, parents would have people over, and all the little kids would be around my brother and I, and we'd, go play with all the kids. And it was kind of one of those things. I did YMCA summer camp for a few years in college, and same thing. Like it was like just natural for me to. It was natural, and kids. Brother Dunn at Palma had said incredible rapport with kids, and I remember thinking I don't even know what that means when he said that when I was like 25, right? And like I don't know what that means. You mean I could talk to kids? Well, I'm barely older than them. It's easy, right? And that hasn't really changed. I actually got a job in insurance my first year out of college, and I remember I had fun. I went to games that year. I still like football and I like to watch it. And I went to a few Idaho games. I went to San Jose State, right? I went to a lot of the Palma games, and I tried to see as many games as I could in the area. And that off season after that first year, I was still working for an insurance company, and Coach Salcedo actually and Coach Carnazzo had talked to me about coaching, and I remember going, it's not something I'm really interested in doing. And I was planning the next September I was going to go to Oktoberfest in Germany, right? I had my list of all the things I wanted to do as a young adult, and I remember Coach Salcedo telling me, you kind of owe me. And I remember saying,
oh, he played that card.
And I remember thinking, you know what? I wouldn't mind giving back for a year. And I was planning to do it for 1 year. What was that? That was 1998. I was planning on doing 1 year. I was about a month in, and they had a math job open up. And Coach Soper, who's the dean of discipline over there forever, came out to practice, and at the end of practice and just said, hey, Steve, we're going to need a math teacher. You ever think about it? And I remember thinking, don't really care for my insurance job right now. I was actually thinking about quitting anyway. And I went and sat in a few classes. Coach Clayton, who passed away now, but Coach Clayton had brought me into his math class and had me teach a period. And I remember him going, yeah, you'll do good. And I remember thinking, I don't even know what I'm doing, Coach. And but a lot of my former teachers were still there, math teachers, and I remember Brother Samp and Coach Clayton and Tim Martinez. Like a lot of those guys were so helpful with everything.
Shout out to Coach Martinez.
Oh yeah, he's awesome, right?
Yes, sir.
And I just remember thinking Coach Carnazzo was awesome. Just really great great structure. And then Coach Costa was still the head varsity coach. I coached JV with Coach Carnazzo that year. And then he got called up to varsity after that season. And Father Ron Shirley was the JV head coach. And I was a D coordinator my second year. Coached O-line, D-line. And I remember, and I was teaching math. And I remember thinking, this is so much fun. Like I spent all my time with kids, and just it was so much fun and so fulfilling, right?
Yes.
Like, and not the football part. I mean, that was fun too. Like the X's and O's are fun. That's the intellectual part. But just the time with kids and seeing kids be happy, like that. It's still like I don't think there's anything better than seeing
underappreciated,
joy.
right? Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Nothing better than seeing the kids experience joy, regardless of what it is. I don't care if it's in my math class. I don't care if it's when we're watching a school play. Like just seeing kids shoot for their dreams and excel, and just seeing the joy on a child's face. There's nothing better than that.
I think we lose sight of that, the importance of that, right? Because I teach fifth grade.
Yeah.
And some of my kids are crazy.
Yeah.
But they're happy.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm kind of like, let's go with this, right?
Yeah.
And and it works, right? Because now I always talk about you launch a quid pro quo, right? Something for something else, right? And I always tell them, hey kids. And they get it, right?
Yeah.
So they understand we play hard, we work hard, we play hard. Right?
Yes.
So I definitely see that point, Coach. So we talked, some of your mentors, you mentioned a lot of very, very key people in your life that influenced you. But how important is our having mentors or that circle of of trust, right?
Yeah.
That you have, to pursue something that can at times can be kind of taxing.
Yeah. When I coached at Palma and then I left, I was getting engaged and in public school paid more, and I ended up coaching at Hollister for a few years, for 4 years with Chris Cameron, and my first day there, and Rick Dukes was my mentor, teacher, who coached me in the All-Star game when I was in high school, and Todd Thatcher, the AD over there, was our D coordinator, and actually their superintendent, another couple years later, was on board, was one of our coaches, and it was a really it was the difference between being a coach and being a professional about it. There, Chris Cameron was I mean, obviously he's probably the best coach Hollister's had ever, and what a great human being. More importantly, I always tell the kids when we play Hollister, like, hey, like, this game means a little bit more to me because Coach Cameron's over there, and he's one of the coaches that his personal opinion of me matters. Not as a coach, but what he thinks about me and what I'm doing matters to me because he's just that guy.
Yeah.
And really learned the business side of football from him as far as the X's and O's and meetings and how to break stuff down from him and Todd mostly, and just kind of learned how to do it. And when I became a head coach a few years after that at North Salinas, I mean, I'd call Chris probably twice a week, and he would just give me advice. I'd call Coach Carnazzo, he would give me advice. Like, I see some younger coaches that, they get in, they think they know everything. I was that coach, I'm sure. I can't remember, it's been too long ago, but they don't want to ask for help. And I think that having those resources, which is, you make great connections with human beings as coaches, not just the kids, the other coaches. And I think having those people that you can call just to ask a question, like, hey, I had this happen today, I don't know how to deal with it. Like, what do you mean? This kid's going through it, I don't know how to deal with this. Have you ever dealt with something like that? Rich Hammond was on that staff, who was the Clovis coach, and Santa Clara, and Gilroy, he's been around too, but just guys that you could call. And hey, here's how I would deal with it. Like, here's what I think you can do. And the X's and O's come up occasionally, but more often than not, it was the human interactions that I needed help with.
It's I think our audience might be surprised to hear that maybe that 1 week where you're adversary, but the rest of life your mentors or your support group, right?
Yes.
Even though like you said, you want to beat the pants out of them that week, but but you still have the trust and the love and the respect that you can call them up and to feel that they're going to give you their best, right?
I wouldn't be teaching and coaching if it wasn't for Jeff Carnazzo. And
shout out to Coach Carnazzo.
Right? And when we play once a year, yes, I want to beat him. And when the game's over, we shake hands, we hug, and it's all good. When we play, eventually I know we'll be playing North High this year, and their new head coach, Mark Ramos, played for me. He's one of my kids. I love him. And
shout out to Coach Ramos. Congratulations.
And I'm definitely going to want to beat him. And I know he's going to want to beat me. And
I think he knows.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That's awesome.
After the game, though, well, he played for me. He definitely knows who I am. So
that's awesome, Coach. So in coaching, Coach, what are some of your non-negotiables?
It has to be about kids. Everything that we're doing in our program has to be about kids. I said it when I interviewed at Salinas, and I'll say it till I'm blue in the face. I'm uninterested in adult wants and needs when it comes to high school football, including my own. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if people believe me all the time, but the decisions need to be kid-based and kid-centered. The things that we do have to be about kids. We do a lot of fun stuff, and it's a lot of work, and frankly, I'm not interested in about half of it. But the kids love doing it, and we're going to do it because that's what they want. And so we're going to make it about them. I tell new coaches when I'm talking to them coming in our program, we had our time. It was called high school. This is their time, and it's about them. And if you think it's about you, this is not the place for you.
I know, Coach. I've seen the pageantry of the game day. Yeah. It's amazing. But you're right. You know, I see the in the student section and they're cheering, and I see the product on the field as well. But it is, you know, just in hindsight, it is student focused, right?
Yeah.
So they're, you know, to optimize whatever the experience is for them, right? To get an experience that they feel like, whether they're in the stands or they're on the sidelines or, you know, or they're, you know, coming into it, right? You know, wanting to be a part of it. Definitely, coach. So now a kind of a leading question. So what do you need in to build a program, right? You know, what's not, you know, well, yeah, well, what do you need in building a program?
Need community support. I tell the parents every year when we have our parent meeting, I'm not like most head coaches that want to keep parents at arm's length. You're part of this program. Those are your sons. You can call me about your son anytime you want. I don't want to hear about what you want for your son, but if you have a concern about your son, you can call me anytime. I'm always down to talk about kids and what they need and you know how we can help kids. I'm not interested in what play you think we should run, those kinds of things. I have.
You still get that? You get that?
Not anymore, really.
Yeah.
I'm pretty straight up about everything. Playing time, same thing. I'm very straight up about it. Best kid's gonna play. Uh, it's absolutely gonna be the best kid playing. And sometimes you hear about favorites. I have favorites. They're like, really? Yeah. Well, it has nothing to do with football. Everything we do is about kids, and when we get to the game, it's about winning. You play the game to win. I don't care what game it is. You're playing cards with your parents. You're trying to win, right? You're playing, you know, you're out playing. I like to play frisbee golf. You're out playing frisbee golf. I am trying to win. I'm not very good, but I'm still trying to win. You know, and I think that so many people think that sports are a ticket to fame and fortune. And yeah, I've had one player so far in 28 years coaching that played in the NFL, and briefly, and I talked to him a few years ago. Actually, he was in Belgium and called me in the middle of the night. But and he was just calling, telling me, you know, I learned the things that were most important playing football from you. I learned about you take care of your family, you work hard, you do the best you can. And I remember thinking, I mean, that hits you right when you hear it. And he was 40 when he told me that, and I remember thinking, you know, he didn't say anything about football. He didn't say anything about his playing experiences in college. You know, we talked about that in the past because I keep in touch with most guys that play for me, but it wasn't about that. It was about, hey, like, I'm doing great. I've got a great job. My kids are doing great. My wife's great. And thank you. I'm happy. And that's generally what I ask them when I see them as adults. Are you happy? And I'm not as concerned about how much money you make. I'm not concerned about any of that stuff. Are you happy? Are you doing something that makes you happy?
Yes.
You know, and you know, occasionally when they get in trouble, they will absolutely call and tell them themselves still. It's sometimes a little embarrassing to have a 40-year-old man call you and tell you something he did wrong, but they're calling for a reason and they need some advice, and I feel like that's part of our job.
Absolutely, coach. I definitely agree with that the whole statement. You know, they're you know, it doesn't end when the season ends, or it doesn't end when they graduate, right? It's relational, right?
Yes.
That's the important thing.
And they come back. Like some of them, like a lot of times, second semester, their senior year, they're moving on with their lives and making. I always tell them, what you do after high school is your first adult decision. Am I going to go to college? Where am I going to go to college? Am I going to go to trade school? Am I going to go right to work? That's your first adult decision that you really make, because you don't get to decide about coming to school or not. You get to decide if you play sports probably, but your real first adult decision is what am I going to do after high school graduation? Yeah, am I going to go to college? Am I going to go to Hartnell? Am I going to?
It was scary, right? It's a scary and it's a big decision, right?
Yeah. Yes, and every time they ask me, where do you think I should go? And I tell them the same thing every time. Oh no, big boy, this is your decision. Yeah. I will 100% ask you questions and help you with that, but this is your decision. Like where you're going to go and what you're going to do, and it's your first adult decision. I always tell them, I'm not going to ruin that for you by making it for you.
There you go. There you go, coach. So what are some of the challenges that you face?
Same as like nowadays, everything's on TV and everything's on YouTube or TikTok. I don't TikTok, but I finally reached that age where I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing that. So much of what they do is out there. like, kids will get in trouble for stuff that I know I did when I was a kid, and I tell them all the time, the difference is we didn't have a camera, and we didn't have a phone, and then we didn't have the internet.
Yeah.
And did I do the same things that you're doing? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody knew about it. Sorry, mom, but right, like nobody knew about it. I tell my mom some of the things that we did as an adult, and she's like, "You guys did that?" And I'm like, "Well, I mean,
Yeah.
allegedly, mom."
Yeah. Things you get away with, right? That you kind of admit, and they're like, "Whoa, what just?"
Yeah, like,
not you, right?
Right, like painting the rock, right, on 101 was a big thing when we were kids, right? And nowadays you probably get arrested for doing something like that.
I don't know if it's even there anymore, right?
Oh yeah, it's gone, right?
That was a tradition, right? That was an 831 tradition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember telling kids, like, some of the stuff that we did, like, you probably would get in trouble for now, and it was like, it wasn't that big a deal. It was kids being kids and having fun. And
did you ever do the old stage ride?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Get out of the car. And,
oh yeah. Yeah. Oh right. That's the stuff we do around here.
Yeah.
Or go out to Hollister and drive to Piscinas, right?
Exactly.
Things that
good old days, right?
Right. Around here, I mean, there wasn't a whole lot to do, right?
That was it, Coach.
Yeah. So we always find something to do, and it wasn't always something that our parents probably wanted us to do.
It'd be interesting if they found out, right?
Oh yeah.
So, Coach, currently in the game, talking, overall, what are some of the issues that currently face our game, our great game of football?
We had to make it safer. I mean, I don't want to throw the movie out there, but that concussion movie kind of raised people's awareness about that.
Yeah.
And we had to change how the game was played. And if we didn't, like, I remember I wasn't hesitant, but I wasn't sure it was a fad or not at first. But my first year coaching, I had a kid getting a concussion. I remember his doctor clearing him, and he couldn't look at me straight. And I remember saying, "Yeah, you're not playing."
Yeah.
And I remember going, "But coach, my doctor said I can't." I go, "Yeah, you need your head, dude." I remember going, "You need your head. Like, the rest of your body, like, I mean, broken fingers and stuff, that's football. I'm not taking a chance with your head. You need that." And I think that changed the game from, like, it used to be we could play to beat you up, right? And it was a very violent, it was a contact sport. It's still a contact sport, but other than the thinking part, we took the head completely out of it. There was a lot of that. Spread offense has definitely made the biggest difference. I probably remembers this. I mean, I was a three-back wishbone or a full house guy. We would run power and counter tray and power and counter tray, and we were like 90% run at North High. Actually, when Mark Ramos played for me, we were about 90% run. His brother Mike was our quarterback, and he ran the show, but we threw the ball about 6 times a game maximum. And our deal on defense was we're going to fly the ball and hit you until you don't want to play anymore.
It's the Woody Hayes version, right?
Yes.
3 yards in a cloud of dust. Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And defensively, we were going to make you not want to play anymore with contact. You can't do that anymore. Number one, safety and all that, but number two, the rules have changed where you're going to get flagged for it if you're playing like that. And we I did anyway, we adjusted to okay, we're going to run you into the ground then. We're going to go fast on offense. We're blessed where I'm at Salinas High. We have a ton of kids out for football, so we 2 platoon for the most part. And part of our defensive scheme is that we're going to go really fast on offense and tire the other team out when they're on defense. And I think that's a big part. I think the NIL stuff is, as someone that played in college, I would have killed for $50 more a month. My senior year, we went from $450 a month to $500 a month for our scholarship checks, and you would have thought guys won the lottery. And we didn't have online banking. Coming out of the administration building, you see these guys with a $500 check. You thought they won the lottery. We're rich.
Who's buying dinner, right?
Oh yeah, it was and it became the last few days of the month, instead of not having money and eating what was left in the cupboards, it was okay. I can make it to the end of the month. And I think I do agree that, college is making billions off of kids, and that's been going on, and I think that they do deserve part of that. I don't have a problem with that. I like to see more regulation as far as, maybe a little bit, I hate to say contract, but seems to me like that might be the way to
We're at a
go.
crossroads, right?
Yeah. Well, and it's going to filter down because everything does. It starts in the NFL, right? And it filters down to college, and then eventually it makes its way to high school. I know we have in Southern California, not in football, I don't think, but I know like some uh, track athletes and some soccer players that they're NIL money.
And they get international money too, right?
Yes.
That's going to be the key, I think, is when it gets super corporate and like you can go one way or another, right?
Yeah, and I think the transfer portal, I do like it because I will say that your coach can leave anytime for a bigger paycheck. I went to say I went to wherever I went to school. I committed. I'm here. I'm there for a year. My coach decides he's going to take a $3 million pay raise to go somewhere else. I think those opportunities is great for kids. I just like to see a little bit of regulation, a little restriction on it. I don't want to see kids go to 7 schools in 4 years, right? And it does happen.
Yeah, it does.
And I think that Coach Sweeney at Clemson said it best. Like, let's talk about the real thing. They're not going to get their degrees doing that. They're losing credits every time they transfer, and we should still have the point of being in college is I'm here to be a student, and I need to get my college degree before I'm done.
You think it's going to be eventually like the NBA, where these kids are just using, college as a one or two, like a minor league essentially?
Yes, I think. Yeah, I do, and I think that that's sad because I think that the college experience like that I had was about having a good time with your friends and playing a game just like in high school. It's different level and all that, but it was still more about the team. And I think that you saw Indiana win the national championship this year because they were the best team. Not necessarily have all the best players, they were a good team. And I've talked to everybody, and a lot of them talked about we don't talk about a 5-year program anymore. This is our team this year. And when the season's over, we got to rebuild our team for next year. And it's really the turnovers. It's pretty high.
Well, let's kind of talk about that. Coach Signetti talks about team, right? Because he talks about together, everyone accomplishes more.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I love that quote, right? Because it is so about the team, and it's not about the eye, And it seemed like that team go from the, Fernando, right, all the way down, all of them were really about that team results, right?
Yeah.
So those are. I'm glad they were able to have success because it really was built on that team game, right?
Well, and that whole idea in football is that when the team succeeds, you will do better. Yes. Like we do better together.
Yes, sir. So, Coach, how do you, you go through a season, right? How do you prepare for the season? How do you assess or evaluate? And then also, second question, and going into a game, what is your game plan or your methodology in that sense?
John Lingo just retired at Gavilan. He was the head coach there and a longtime guy. I remember I coached his son, and we were talking when I was taking the North Salinas job, and I remember him telling me I still have a yellow legal pad, and computers were out then, but it wasn't like it hadn't really made it to college at that point. I mean into high school at that point. And he goes, I just write down everything during the season. He goes, you're not going to have time during the season to reevaluate your program and all that. And I still do that now. I mean, I have a notes program instead, but instead of doing it on paper. But I do that during the season, and then I don't look at it right after the season. I wait until about January 2nd or 3rd, kind of start to plan the next year. I usually make the calendar for the whole year that week, as far as workouts and summer and everything that we're going to do. And then I look and okay, what did I like and not like last year, and what are we gonna do to make changes? We'll have our first staff meeting on Wednesday for next year, and again, it's not like we haven't been talking, right? Coaches, we're talking all the time. And always thinking about like, okay, so for me, I'm looking at, okay, where do we diverge from what I want? Because Golden Anderson and Carmel says it best. He goes, you have to jealously guard the tenets of your program because you can let go a little bit here and a little bit there, and the next thing you know, you don't like your product. I'm not as concerned about X's and O's. I'll be honest. I'm not a play caller. I don't do that. Uh, I'm more about my offensive coordinator runs the offense. My defensive coordinator runs the
Trusting your
defense.
people.
Yes, and I always tell them like, cause I mean, if people ask me, do you ever tell them what play to call? I go, no. If I wanted to call plays, I'd be calling plays. I hired him to do the job, and I trust him to do it. And I occasionally be like, hey, stay on the ground, or hey, it's 36, or probably give my input, but I don't say, hey, call this play. Like I don't do that. I just don't believe in it. I believe in trusting my guys, and I think that they put the time in.
They do.
And,
they definitely do.
And we definitely do that. And then, we work out we started our morning workouts today. Spring sports started today. And so we've been working out after school since the season ended. But we started our morning workouts today. We'll do that through spring ball. We always do 1 week of spring ball. It's always the last week of school before finals. Most spring sports are over then. I don't want kids not playing other sports because they don't want to miss spring football. I want them to play as many sports as they can. So we do it that last week, and then we have finals week off. We take I think it's the first week in June. We have to be off. We're off then, and we come back on the second Monday in June, and generally go 4 days a week, Monday through Thursday, 2 hours. I'm big on old school, right? We'd be out there 3.5 hours for practice, and it was slow and boring. I'm big on kids.
It becomes inefficient, right?
And we're teachers. We know after 2 hours we're wasting our time anyway. Like after 2 hours, if you're still doing the same thing, kids are done, and coaches are done, and I mean, frankly, I'm done. So our thing is that we want to have a high tempo, high energy practice. In the summer, we're working out and running and doing different things as well, but I don't want anybody standing around. They're out there to be active, and we like to send them home tired and hungry to their parents, right?
They're happy, right?
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. So you already kind of touched base, and you kind of talked about it already. About the off season, right?
Yeah.
They said the off season is the first season, right?
Yeah.
How important is that? The off season leading up to the season. How do you use it to evaluate, assess, or just everybody you install, right? But what does it look like at Salinas High?
The off season to me is we're providing an opportunity for you to get better 4 days a week for 5 months. Take it or leave it. Most of our kids will take it, obviously. Most kids will. They peer pressure, right? Their friends are there. They're going to be there.
What's that expectation, right, Coach?
Yes, and I think that the best teams are player-led, and I think that it's much better when that comes from within. I don't think we spend enough time just in the rest of our lives with kids as much as we used to teaching them how to be leaders. We spend a lot of time teaching them how to be leaders.
How important is team building? Is that part of it as well?
It's huge. And sometimes it's, as I always tell them, you'll pull together because you want to and it's the right thing to do, or you'll have a common enemy, me, and you'll pull together for that reason. I push, and I like to push them to see how they respond in pressure situations. How do you deal with stress and anxiety? All those things that happen in football, but also are going to happen the rest of your life. So the first time, I always tell them, the first time you have something bad happen in your life, I don't want you to fold. I don't, your wife's in labor. I don't want you to be the guy running around the car screaming in the parking lot, right? I want you to, hey, I just going to labor. I got it. I got your bag. It's in the car. Let's go, honey. We're on our way. And those kinds of things, I think that more important than football, right, Coach? For sure, the kid's more important. So we do a lot of that, and I think that, and we do a lot of fun things to make it fun. And I'm big on anytime we meet for football, we eat. So if we're watching film, we get food. Our parents are great. My wife organizes all of that. So every time we meet, they have food because you eat with family, right? And I'm big on trying to foster that family environment. I wasn't that way when I first started, but I definitely think it's important for kids to know you love them, and not just implied. I think it's important to tell them.
Yes.
And I think it's important for us as men, as male coaches, that a lot of boys don't have dad at home, and more so now than when we were kids. And I think it's important to be that positive male role model.
Well, they're getting those examples, but it might not always be the most positive. So, like you said, it's always important to give them a difference, right?
Yes.
The status quo or what the stereotype or the expectation is for them, and to say, hey, no, there's a way, and and it's up to you, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So, Coach, this is kind of a question that you do a great job. Because I follow you on Facebook of getting time to rejuvenate, right?
Yeah.
You go on vacation.
Yeah.
You have a really strong coach at home, right?
Yeah.
How important is that, Coach? One, being able to take a little bit of me time, right, or us time, and then also, that support network that you not only with your wife, who's amazing, but also with your son and your extended family. How important is that into you being able to continue doing this at the high level that you do?
I think if you want to be great at coaching, then everybody in your life needs to be on board. Doesn't mean it's about you, but if you don't have the support at home, my wife's 100% involved in what we do in football. She has no idea what plays we're running. I'll give her that. But she 100% wants to. Our first year married, she would run the VCR for me when I was breaking down film.
Right.
And she was just like, well, I mean, this is what you're doing. And she likes sports, and she's a sports person. But I remember going, you really want to run the clicker for me while I watch film? She goes, yeah. I mean, we're going to hang out together. It sounds like, we'll do it together. And she would ask questions like, why do you call it that? Why do you do this? And she's always been great. Super supportive about it. I didn't actually want to be a head coach the second time, and she kind of talked me into it. And and she just said, because I remember saying hey, when we first did it at North High, we didn't have a son, and it didn't matter if I was gone 10 hours a day. But we have 5-year-old at home, and I'm missing things because of football, and I don't want to. I don't want to miss my kid's soccer game on Saturday because we have a staff meeting.
How you been able to manage that?
Much better this time.
Good.
And Bruce Arians said it best, that a coach, for him, if you miss a dance recital or a game for your kid, I'll fire you. And I'm big on that. Don't miss your kid stuff.
Yes.
Do not miss your kid stuff. You get to do that one time with them. Do not miss that. We will be fine, and we'll figure it out without you. And we do take time, to get away. We always get away right after school gets out for a week, and spring break and Christmas. We just get out and do things together with our, obviously with our son. But we do. My wife's all in, so her thing is well, football's family time because we're all there. And my son's always there. He doesn't play football. As he told me, I made him try it his freshman year, and he goes, well, I don't really want to play. I go, well, you don't know that until you try. You got to try it once. And after the season, he goes, I like football. I really do, Dad. I just don't like playing. And I remember going, okay. He goes, what do you say?
It's very honest in him, right?
Yeah.
To be able to talk to you about that, yeah.
He goes, I don't like hitting people, and I really don't like them hitting me. And I remember saying, well, then this is not your game, buddy. Yeah. And but he goes to all the games. He'll go scout with me. He enjoys the football part. He loves the crowd part. But not his thing. But that was kind of part of it. Is hey, we're going to do this as a family. My younger brother coaches for us. My twin brother used to coach for us. And my coaching staff is awesome. I get to be the person in charge and in front all the time. But they're doing 75% of the football work, not me. A great lower level staff as well that does a great job with kids, and our parents are super supportive. I mean, Salinas High, they love football there. That's not me. That's always been that way there, right, Coach? And our students love coming to games. And a lot of things that we do for games, like the hoopla and that stuff, is to get more kids to come. We get, mountain biking brings the flags out before a game, cheer.
Mr. Hagan.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
The former North County guy.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Shout out to Mr. Hagan.
And we try to just always include more kids. Our volleyball team will come out with us. Our band is awesome. We have the drum line before games. I was in the band once upon a time.
What instrument did you play?
I played clarinet.
Oh, nice.
Nice. My mom said we all had to play an instrument, so we all played an instrument.
Nice. My daughter plays the marimba.
Oh, nice.
She's a percussionist.
Oh,
I know, Coach. That's awesome.
Clarinet was the cheapest, and I have a twin brother, so we played clarinet, and our younger brother, because he was the only, and he played the trumpet.
You still play?
No, no. Every once in a while, I'll get one out and play for a while, and it is definitely enjoyable.
Right on, Coach. Yeah, it's good to be diverse, right? You
Yes.
know, like you said, you gotta let them be themselves, right?
Yeah.
Especially when they're our kids, and there's that pressure, right?
Yes.
But you gotta let them be them, you know. So a couple final questions, Coach. What's one final thought or quote that you want to leave for our listeners?
I just we had a different season this year as far as just off the field, some tragedies and those kinds of things, and it just made me feel a lot more like it's not my quote, but it's a good one. Is yesterday's history, tomorrow's a mystery, and today's a blessing. And count your blessings and enjoy today.
Well said. Well said, Coach. So for our listeners who might want to contact you, Coach, how could they?
My email's on the school website, and I mean, I've had the same cell number for 23 years. I think everybody has it at this point. And I'm always open to talk football. Just don't call me at 2 in the morning.
Unless you're a former player.
Yeah, they will occasionally call me when they need me, and I'm pretty clear with them. Like, you need me, you call me anytime. That's never not an option. You need me, you need help. You can call me anytime. Don't call me in the middle of the night because you can't find your pads. That can wait until the morning.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, Coach. So, Coach, is there anything else that we haven't talked about that you want to talk, or questions or anything you have?
I think we have great coaches around here that, I mean, I've been around long, and I feel like the old guy around now as the head coach, and so many great coaches in our area, not just in football, just in all our sports, and I think it's something that maybe parents need to hear. I know as a first-time parent for the football player, when my kid was a freshman, I remember thinking, like, I run this, and my kid's not starting. And I had to really check myself and really think, like, I have to be who I say I am. He's not better than the other kid, and I have to be okay with that. And it really gave me perspective for talking to parents. 95% of what we do in sports is practice. The 5% of games is when everybody's watching, and I understand that, but your kid's getting 95% of what everybody else is getting. And I also think it's important for parents to know, hey, like, high school coaches, we're not professionals. We don't. We get paid about 10 cents an hour to do it.
We got other jobs.
Families and lives. This isn't. I'm not a Kurt Signetti. I'm not making $7 million a year to do this or whatever they pay those guys now. And what you have is really good men and women that are donating their time for your kids.
Yeah, I always said that I enjoyed practice more than games because practice reveals so much. Right?
Yes.
And it's you and the team and. Right? The games are kind of like, hey, do what you do.
Oh, yeah, right? There's not a whole lot. People always like, oh, there's not a whole lot of coaching during a game. I go, my job in a game is to manage the game. I go, my coaches do coach kids, obviously. We make adjustments. We do all that. But they should be ready to go when we get there. Yeah. Like, if we've done our job, it's point and shoot. And I always tell the kids, like, hey, none of us are going to play on Friday. Like all these old guys over here, we're not going to play. You are, so you have to be bought into what we do.
Yeah, because they got it. They're the product, right?
Yeah,
the product.
Yeah.
Coach, well, you have demonstrated a great product, right? You know, not only with the results, but also with the type of kids and program that you're running. So I really, from a spectator and an adversary or opponent, I've always appreciated and admired that. So again, let's thank Coach Steve Zenk for joining us. It's been an honor and a pleasure, Coach.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you. Again, don't forget to support our local schools. That they are, these kids that are out there. They're out there giving their best, and they deserve our love, like Coach says, and our support for them because they're trying their best, and it would mean a lot that we were out there supporting them. Don't forget to subscribe to the Coaches Huddle 831. We have in store a lot of other great interviews beyond also the football coaching realm as well. So just keep an eye out for that. Again, I thank you all for your support, supporting the podcast, and all your great comments and well wishes. So again, thank you so much. I thank my family for allowing me to do this as well. Coach, any last thoughts?
Yeah, just thanks to everybody out there, Coach. Thanks for having me, and thanks to all the parents that put their kids into sports and trust us with their kids.
Thank you so much.